Hi guys, welcome to the World Class Happiness channel. I'm Dominic. This is the last video in our relationship series. We've done now 16, or this is the 16th video. The 15 before, we've been talking about all the different elements of a long-term relationship, like a partnership or a marriage, and all the things that you need to possibly improve on. There will be other things that I haven't mentioned, but they are the actual things that I write about in my book. Number 16 is to say sorry and to forgive. All right, both two really important things, and the reason I left it till last is because, you know, obviously if you don't do that, generally the relationship will fall apart, because that's like the first part, really, just saying sorry. And that's a part that a lot of people struggle with, and you know, I'll hold my hands up and say that that is something that I struggled with earlier on in the relationship that I'm having with Claire. 24 years we've been together now, and there was a time when, you know, I used to struggle to say sorry after a disagreement or an argument, and Claire was always the one who would pretty much make it up first and say sorry. And my reason for that was that generally she was more likely to be the one who kind of kicked it off in the first place. And you know, that wasn't the fact that she was just argumentative. She's just a little bit more of a fiery character, and you know, there was quite often times where she would maybe kick off about things that maybe I wouldn't have kicked off about, and then my part in it is that I then kind of like was, hold on, you know, that ain't right, and then I would get involved and then maybe say things that maybe I shouldn't have said and acted way I shouldn't have acted. So I was also then at that point wrong within that dispute or that argument. So the fact that she was always the one who said sorry wasn't always right. You know, there were times where I could have definitely have stepped in and said sorry first. And as the relationship's gone on, I feel like I've got a lot better at that. And also Claire's got a lot better at maybe holding her tongue and maybe, you know, and not kind of starting things that maybe she would have done in the past. So I think we've both kind of grown into each other's personalities a little bit, and we've met in the middle and compromised, which was another thing we spoke about on one of the other videos. So let's say it doesn't really matter who starts it, that's irrelevant really, because you should both look to say sorry. Okay, so let's say we're in a situation with, you know, that an argument's happened and I feel like, you know, the other person was in the wrong. Claire in this case was in the wrong. Now that doesn't mean that I shouldn't offer an apology, okay, because what I'm saying sorry for in that particular instance, this is if I think I've done nothing wrong whatsoever, I'm still offering an apology at some point, because I still have upset Claire, or you've upset your partner, whoever we're talking about, at some point. There's a reason why they're getting upset. Now, what you've got to apologise for, say sorry for, is you saying sorry for them being upset. And what you've then got to do is try and understand why they're upset, and, you know, have a little bit of empathy for that, and then maybe try and talk through the reasons why the person's getting upset, and then maybe find a solution to that. And obviously you've got to then obviously say sorry for any part of the argument that you might have maybe been out of order with, whether it be, you know, the way you acted, or what you said, or maybe you shouted or whatever. Regardless of whether you're wrong or right at the beginning, that's kind of irrelevant at that point. But what you'll find is generally is when you're the one who then says sorry first, what you'll then find is the other person, probably 99 times out of 100, will then say, well, actually, yeah, no, I'm sorry as well, because of this and this, and not, you know, that's me who started in the first place, or I shouldn't have said this, or I was not really in a good mood, or whatever it might be. And then generally, because you've made that first move, the other person will then hold their hands up and say, look, you know, that, okay, no, that wasn't your fault, that was me, and I shouldn't have said this and shouldn't have done this. And that's what you'll find. So a lot of the time, if you want an apology from somebody, just telling them that they should apologise and I've done nothing wrong, and you don't take any responsibility at all for anything, and you just keep banging on about that, and you keep going on about what the other person's done wrong, that's not going to actually bring them out of that at all. And that, in fact, what that's going to do is maintain the argument for longer. So probably, you know, what you need to do is just try and see the big picture by taking a step back from the argument, and to kind of, you know, come away and think, right, okay, why does this person feel like this? And then also try and focus on, you know, what something good about that person as well. You know, that might be something nice that they've done for you earlier in that particular day, or something nice that they did for you yesterday, or maybe on a different occasion when you'd been out of order, maybe they'd apologise to you or something, and you sort of, you know, regardless of whether you think you're right or wrong in that situation, maybe, you know, it's a good idea to try and step up and see their side and understand their side and understand why they're upset. And then they're a lot more likely then to calm down and then maybe apologise. And then when they kind of calm down and then explain sometimes what the problem was, rather than shout about it, quite often then what you'll find is, oh yeah, actually, yeah, I can understand that now, and I can understand maybe why they were mad at me, because maybe I didn't realise that I was actually causing any problem, and I was. So sometimes that communication by talking is a lot more effective than just shouting and arguing. Okay, and the forgiving part, that's really important, because, you know, we all make mistakes at the end of the day, and if, you know, some mistakes are bigger than others, of course they are. But if you're always bringing up the past and say, well, last time you did this, or you said that, or a month ago this happened, you're never really going to move forward. And, you know, like I sort of said about myself and Claire, we've kind of got better at arguing or apologising, or whatever way you want to look at it. We've got better at that, and better at communicating. That's a better way of putting it. And better at kind of at talking through any issues. And, you know, because as you know, I've sort of written a book about happiness, and written a book with a relationship section in, so that kind of suggests that I'm an expert. But, you know, we have no different scenarios to anyone else. We still have our issues. We still have things kind of, you know, that that are not kind of always making us happy day to day, and we then have to then sort them out at that particular time, same as everyone else. To think that, you know, I'm always this super happy character and nothing ever goes wrong, you know, that's false. That's BS. And you know, the reality is that we've all got exactly the same issues, and we've all got the same problems and obstacles to tackle. But it's really everything, not just relationships, but in general. People who are happiest are the people who can kind of look at things from a different perspective and turn things around, flip meanings and stuff like that. They're the people who are going to be the most happy. So really, you know, we're talking about relationships at the minute, but if you're talking about happiness overall, that's the key really, is just always being able to flip things around, focus on the good things, like focus on what your partner's done for you in the past, what nice things they've done, and what they say, and how they really feel, and their true intentions towards you, and your true intentions towards them. So when you're thinking like that, a little tiff about nothing really can easily be resolved. Okay, so that's my message today. A little bit of a longer one today, and next video will be on something completely different. I don't know what yet, but hope you've enjoyed the relationship series. Keep watching the videos, and if you like what we're talking about in general, or this series or whatever, just press the subscribe button, and see you on the next video. Cheers.